Okay, exactly 8 o'clock. Very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is the 1st of June, 2023. Thursday class. So we'll be continuing our sharing from this book, Straight from the Heart, Unit Dhamma Code by me, Gratitude. I think we are at code number 64. 南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨。南无佛菩萨。南无佛菩萨。南无佛菩萨。อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวะพุทธังภะคะวันตังอะภิวาเทมิสุขโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิอาดินาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาดาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาดาทานะเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ We'll continue our chanting from page 3 of the chanting book Padipa Puja. Ganna sarapa ditena dipena tamadang sina tiloka dipang sambudang pujayami tamonodang ganda sambara yutena tupena hang sukang hina pujaye pujaniyang tang Puja bhajana muttamang Vanda ganda gunu petang Etang kusuma santatin Pujayami munindasa Siri para sarorohe Pujemi Buddhang Kasumena Nena Punnena Matena Cha Hotu Mokkang Pupang Milayati Yata Idang Me Kayo Tata Yati Vinasa Bhavang Adivase Tono Bante Paniyang Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Muttamang Adivase Tono Bante Pale Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Muttamang Adivase Tuno Bante Bojanang Parikapitang Anukampang Upadaya Patigan Hatu Muttamang. Now we'll chant the Puja aspiration based on our understanding of the significance of all these puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha bring forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness or ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses off the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense, which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruit of our karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the bond-free Nibbana, making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits, born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas of ours. Sharing and transfer merits to all beings. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's pay respect. Triple chant. Petang pajemi. Dhammang pajemi. Sanghang pajemi. Just remember the four support to help you develop the awareness-based meditation within, especially the first three support. Relax body and mind, relax into every mind state that arises. Then maintain awareness. Whatever arises, aware, finish. Don't try to know, don't try to do anything, just aware and silent. And the third support is to develop the stability of this awareness. So develop these three to help you stabilize your inner awareness so that you can develop the ability to be heedful in the midst of life, whether in formal meditation or in your daily life, developing the daily mindfulness. Okay, you all can slowly, mindfully come out of the meditation. Then we will continue with our Puja chanting. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in the entirety, let the deities and Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalesu Atva Gachantu Devata Saddhamma Munirajasa Sunantu Sakamokadang Dhamma Sunan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sunan Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sunan Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa Iti Beso Bhagava Arahang Sama Sambuddho Vijayana Sampano Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Satta Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Panaiko Pajatang Veditapu Vinohiti Supatipano Bhagavato Sangho Ujupatipano Bhagavato Sangho Yaya Patipano Bhagavato Sangho Samici Patipano Bhagavato Sangho Yadidang Chatari Purisa Yogani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sangho Ahuneo Pahuneo Tapkeneyo Anjali Karaneo Anutarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, you can be seated, and we shall continue from where we stop. We are at page 6. Oh, sorry. We are at verse 64. So this unique Dhamma code is very important because it comes from the understanding of the silent mind, the true mind, the nature. That's why all these codes are very unique. Okay, we have finished code 63. Then we are at unique code 64, page 18. But with the meditative mind, you are most of the time mindful, aware, and silent within. So this one is very easy to understand by now. Apart from mindful, aware, and silent within, the characteristics of a meditative mind is tranquility of mind, stillness of mind, the silent mind, which is just aware, nothing else. Yeah. So with the meditative mind developed through developing the spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya, you will always be in a meditative state, where all these spiritual faculties are basically conducive to develop the meditative state. Take, for example, the first spiritual faculty of Saddha. When you have faith in the Buddha and his teachings, your Saddha is very strong, very stable. That makes your mind very calm, very different. So ability to have Saddha is very important. When you have faith, your mind does not become restless or waver. It does not have doubt. So a mind that has faith develops Saddha is very calm, very composed. And that state is conducive for Samadhi. Then it can help root out the mental hindrance of restlessness, doubt. Then the next spiritual faculty is when your faith is very stable, especially after you have understood who the Buddha is and how wonderful his teaching is. Then you put his teaching to test, to investigate into. Then it stand up to investigation. Your faith becomes unshakable. That will lead to the second spiritual faculty, Virya. So this Virya will arise and drive you to cultivate. That's why the spiritual zeal, the spiritual tenacity to go this way become very strong. So this spiritual zeal and tenacity is a type of energy inside the mind. But this type of energy is not the usual thought-based energy. It's not thought. That's why some they translate or interpret through the commentaries the meaning of Virya wrongly. They translate it as effort. Whereas in the Noble Eightfold Path, the right effort is not Samavirya. The right effort is Samavayama. So Vayama is effort. But when it comes to Virya, it's an energy, a tenacity, spiritual tenacity, or zeal. The better word is zeal. You become interested, your faith very strong, it drives you. So this one is a very pure type of energy, born of understanding, born of faith, that actually give rise to this spiritual tenacity to go this way. So Saddha and Virya can make your mind different, and it's conducive for you to maintain the meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness. And because of that, the mind becomes very quiet, very still. Then you experience tranquility. That's why the characteristic of a meditative mind is tranquility, stillness of mind, the silent mind, which is just aware. And because it is completely silent, without thought, just aware, there is clarity. It's not distracted, not heedlessly lost in thought, not preoccupied with any emotion, fear, worry, anxiety, thinking, or whatever. Because there is no thought, no duality, nothing. That's why it's completely different. It's just aware. That's it. Then the other spiritual faculty is obvious. Sati, which is mindfulness. When you are mindful, you are just aware without thought. That is definitely a meditative state. Then when you stabilize that, it becomes samadhi. The mind becomes unwavering and composed. That is also a meditative state. Then with sati and samadhi, you have the ability to see things as they are and develop the ability to insight into phenomena, to awaken, to realize the truth. And you can also within that silent observe and develop the understanding of what is going on within life, within existence, within our own form and mind. Then through this observation, which is meditation, we develop wisdom, understanding, clear understanding of what we are, who we are, and how we function as a human being, leading to deep understanding of that so-called self-knowledge. There is no such thing as a self. Yeah, there is Sakayaditi. What the Buddha wants you to realize is to silence your mind and observe, to realize the truth, the fundamental truth within nature. Everything that exists within the conditioned world, they are conditioned arising entity, dependent originating, not a permanent unchanging entity. Even our form and mind is the same. The five aggregate, they are the same. That's why they exhibit the universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, anatta. The three universal characteristics. It's called universal because it is common to all phenomena. Because it's not a permanent unchanging entity, that's why it's impermanent. The reason being, dependent on condition it arises. That's why it's a conditioned world. Causal phenomena, without cause, nothing arises. So everything that arises follow causes and condition behind. So all this understanding, when you are mindful, aware, you can see, then you can develop the understanding of the teaching that the Buddha always teach. He called it the Paticca Samuppada, the law of dependent originating, or law of dependent origination. Everything that arises, like the Buddha said, whatever that arises, there are causes and conditions behind. And these causes and conditions he has taught. Because like the Buddha said, We are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. So the causes and conditions that flow and function to arise all these phenomena of consciousness and form, and the human being, and the 5 degrees of form and mind, they are all related to karma. There is this karmic behind, mental intention behind. Of course, there are nature's law that are without the moral causation, like nature's physical law, Uttu Niyama, or nature's biological order or law, Bija Niyama. So all this, when you are able to observe nature, you can see. It's like the scientists, through observation, through research, through their own investigative development, they manage to unravel these two nature's law. They call it the physical law of nature and biological law of nature. These are scientific law. When you understand them, you become very good in all this technical field, scientific field. That's why there is such teaching as the science behind physics, chemistry, biology, and now they also evolve a lot of other spin-off teachings, especially the biological order. They realize a lot of things has life, organic in nature. They call it organism, or it has its biochemistry inside. So the Buddha developed the other 3 spiritual laws. The law of karma, the law of mind, and the law of truth. That's why he called it karma niyama, chitta niyama, and dhamma niyama. So we have covered karma niyama many times already. And the Buddha has taught it very well, very clear. Under the 5 daily contemplation, the 5th contemplation. Then from there it spin off his teaching. That's why if we are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned, supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of karma, then what must we do? If we want to have the good life, the understanding of life, we must take care of karma. And how do we take care of karma? We have to take care of mind. We have to avoid all evil, do good, and purify the mind. We are following the advice of all Sammas and Buddha. That's how it started. So taking care of mind is very important. Avoiding all evil means keeping your precepts well. When you keep your precepts, you avoid all major evils. Then cultivate wholesomeness means you must develop the understanding of what constitutes evil and what constitutes wholesomeness. Then from there you can cultivate. But to do this, you need to have mindfulness, awareness, sati, to observe, to see, to be aware of their arising. Otherwise you can't. Then finally, of course, you need to purify your mind through meditation. So that's how the teaching comes about. Then after that, we move on to the 2nd spiritual law, which I mentioned just now. When we are mindful, aware, we can silence our mind to observe, to see clearly how this law The Buddha called it the Paticca Samuppada, or 12 link, or law of dependent origination operate. Means how you function as a human being, how your mind actually operate following this Paticca Samuppada. So his 12 link is explained in the teaching. So when you go through the teaching, you reflect, you contemplate, you silence your mind, then you observe, then you realize it matches. Then you start to understand who you are, what you are, and how you function as a human being. Then you realize everything is dependent, originating, condition arising, causal. There is no such thing as a self, a permanent, unchanging entity that you can cling onto, grasp onto, hold onto, and say, this is me, this is I, therefore all this can be mine. Sakkaya Ditthi, self-delusion, come from the lack of understanding of this. That's why you are deluded, you become heedless, because you fail to see through the form and mind, not able to realize that this is not a permanent, unchanging entity that you can grasp onto, cling onto, hold onto, and say, this is me, this is I. The entity, the personality, the egoic mind is a delusion. That's why they call it the self that you cling onto deludedly is a delusion. So they call it the self-delusion or Sakkaya Ditthi. Yeah. So all this is what you will develop as understanding. So sati is very important, stabilizing it into samadhi and develop the meditation from there. That's why when we are aware within, that is sati. Then with the other spiritual faculty, especially Saddha, Virya, Samadhi, then wisdom. Once wisdom is there, the enlightenment factor of upekkha will arise. Your wisdom will prevent your mind from stirring, reacting, or becoming frightened, emotional, and all those things. All the fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation, they will cease once wisdom is there. So wisdom is required to stabilize the meditative mind. This meditative mind initially needs saddha, virya, then it drives you to cultivate, to train your mind to develop sati. And sati is what we call awareness. So our awareness-based meditation is to develop sati, which is to realize our true mind, our inner awareness, develop it until it's stabilized to become samadhi. So sati and samadhi will bring forth the meditative mind, and that will allow you to meditate, to observe, to understand, to awaken, to insight into phenomena, to realize the truth. That's what the meditative mind is all about. So what you need is the 5 spiritual faculty. When they are there, the mental hindrance is gone. When there is nothing to hinder your mind from entering the meditative state of inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness, then your mind is naturally in the meditative state. No need to do anything. Do you realize that? That is what meditation is all about. When you understand, meditation is very simple. No need to do anything. Relax, maintain awareness until that nature stabilizes. Then, from there, the mind will develop the meditative understanding, the awakening, the realization. So this is what a meditative mind is. So now I read again the unique code, you will understand its deep meaning. But with the meditative mind, You are most of the time mindful, aware and silent within. That's why you need to train your mind to develop this inner awareness, stabilize it. And initially, before you develop them, you must have the spiritual faculty cultivated too. When your spiritual faculties are there, when you develop it, cultivate it until it's unshakable, become ballast, and then the meditative mind will arise on its own. Yeah. So all this come about is because of verse 6, Unit Code 63. It talks about heedful living versus heedless living. So I maybe repeat this verse, then you will understand. Moment to moment, life passes by. What are you doing? Most people are too busy planning, thinking, and worrying about life, so much so that they totally miss out on life. They are seldom aware within the moment. Why? Because they don't have the meditative mind. So when you are seldom aware within the moment to live life, to truly live life, then what will happen to you? You become heedless, you think a lot. Your mind has got no clarity. It cannot be in the state of awareness within. It cannot be in the state of tranquility, stillness, awareness, knowing. That's why you become heedless. So this is heedless living, constantly lost in thought. Then it continues, Unit Code 64. Then I say, but with the meditative mind, means after you have trained it, develop the spiritual faculty, stabilize it until it becomes unshakable, then you are most of the time mindful, aware, and silent within. That's why you hardly think. Most of the time you are just aware, silent, without thought, mindful. And this is what heedful living is all about. Heedful living means you have heedfulness. You are ever mindful, constantly meditative. So this Unit Code 64 is very important. Yeah. Okay. Then we go on to the next Unit Code. Unit Code number 65. A very stable daily mindfulness or awareness or sati is needed to see the birth and formation of thought. There is an inner awareness within. So this one is very important. Unless your mindfulness or awareness stabilize, you cannot understand this Unit Code. That's why I use the word, a very stable daily mindfulness or inner awareness is needed to see the birth and formation of thought, with how you create thought, how thought come to be, how you input the content to make it into a thought, how before that is just a pure awareness, it's just that vijnana, the pure consciousness without its content. Without a stable mindfulness, you cannot see. Then how from there, your brain, your memory, with its views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, and all the accumulated memory and knowledge, act, stir, and develop the whole movement of the mundane mind. The first thing they will do is to perceive through memory. Well, without memory, you cannot understand what that thing is. You cannot perceive what that thing is. So human beings need memories, need knowledge. That's why that one gives rise to perception. But when there is no word, no concept, no memory of that thing, means you haven't seen before. Let's say the thing that you observe or try to hear, try to listen or smell or what, you haven't observed before. You haven't seen before. There is no knowledge of what that thing is, the unknown. So what happened? When you encounter the situation, you cannot develop the understanding is because you are not able to be in the state of awareness to silence everything and do not allow that memory to come in, the movement. So the memory is the one that actually create the movement. So the moment you perceive, what happens is that memory of what that thing is will trigger the image of that which you didn't see. That image appear. That concept, that idea appear. Because you label it and it arises already, exists already. It can be anything you observe. Can be your spouse, means either your husband or your wife, or your children, or your colleague, or a pretty lady, or a handsome guy, or whatever, or even a Buddha Rupang, or a piece of art. So normally, people do not have the ability to see things as they are through the direct seeing, the pure vijnanam, because they are aggregates of mind, their memory is full of views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system, and habitual tendency. That's why straight away they latches onto that thing, they perceive it, and they move the whole thing through their views, opinion, conditioning, and belief system. Then the mind stir, like, dislike, pleasant, unpleasant, discriminate, and all those things. Then that movement arise. So when the thought is busy doing all this, you cannot be in a state of awareness. And when you are not able to be in the state of awareness to observe, then what is happening? Means the silent mind, the awareness nature is not there. If it's not there, then who is there? Who is there? The mundane mind is there. The thinking mind is there. And that one is active. That's why thought is active. So when thought is active, thought brings about problems. Why? Because thought divide. Through what? Through words, through appearances, through belief system. That's why they create a word, race. It divide the humanity or human being. Or it create another word, race. Again it divide. Gender, it divide. Old, young, maybe as a child, newborn baby. So all this create division again. Then all the various division through ideology. It can be political or whatever ideology, tradition, and all those things. So this is how thought divide. And when they divide, it creates conflict, misunderstanding. Then the evil roots of anger, hatred, emotion, fear, worry, anxiety, they start to manifest. And the manifestation of these three evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion is the cause of all the evil in this world. That's why the war, the conflict, the misunderstanding, the mischief, everything arises. Because the mundane mind, without wisdom, without the Dhamma understanding, without this ability to see clearly, comprehend the truth, it cannot awaken. It's trapped within. That's why it gets itself entangled with the phenomenal world of consciousness. So this phenomenal world of consciousness and form has power over them, delude them, condition them into negativity, selfishness, craving, desire, possessiveness. And all this continue to manifest. And because of that, living being cannot break free. Living being continue to get themselves entangled. That's why this code, unique code 65, is very important. Without a very stable daily mindfulness or sati or awareness within, you cannot see the birth and formation of thought. You cannot see how from the pure consciousness, when you focus, when you try to perceive something, you shrink the pure, spacious awareness into a space, a very narrow space, which is very limited. Then from there, you perceive, stir, and create all the movement of sankhara activity. That's how the content went in. And when the content went in, it becomes namarupa. So avijja pacaya sankhara, sankhara pacaya vijnana, the pure consciousness. Then you input the content of consciousness, it becomes namarupa, the five aggregate form and mind. The second aspect, the thought, that one goes in. Once that one goes in, you already been deceived, deluded. But that one is the one that divide and create all this delusion movement. So ability to see this, to understand who you are, what you are, and how you function as a human being, to observe the paticca samuppada movement, to realize the truth is very important. It's what meditation is. The awakening to this understanding is what meditation is. So without this understanding, which is wisdom, you cannot break free. You cannot reverse all this. That has a reason. That's why the four circle we developed earlier on. That is basically what you need to understand, so that you know how to return and break free. How from that nature it come out, then it evolved into the phenomenal world of consciousness. Before that is just the pure nature. Then the first thing to come out is a pure awareness, the second circle. Then after that, the pure awareness trigger of the mundane mind, the thought process, the thinking. That's how the mundane mind come out, the third circle. Then the mundane mind, the thinking mind, spin off the phenomenal world of consciousness and form. That's how we have everything. Everything that you come to perceive through your senses, created by thought, by consciousness, they become the phenomenal world. So these four, initially from the true nature, the source, we start. This is our true nature. And here, there is nothing inside that. He know you, he know me, nothing. Just the pure nature. So you can call this the oneness nature, original nature, or the source, or the singularity, and all the various words that people use. Some even call it Nibbana, or whatever. From there, the first thing to come out is the pure awareness. This pure awareness is a nature within, it's not a being. So this pure awareness that come out, you silence your mind and stabilize this, then you realize it's just a nature inside there. It's not a being, like your karmic nature, your spiritual nature. This is pure awareness nature. And this is what your true mind is all about. This one is the one that can meditate, can insight into phenomena, can give rise to a direct seeing, this direction. The Trinity triangle. Whereas for living, you have to develop the wisdom, then true living is here, this direction. Most people are caught in this, because this pure awareness, they are hardly aware. They don't know that they have this. They straight away fall into this. They are lost in thought. That's why this one become egoic, limited. the 5 aggregate of form and mind. So this one is karmic because it is egoic, because it has Sakaya deity. So the egoic mind creates karma. This is what the 5 aggregate of form and mind is. So from the pure awareness, you create mundane living through the senses, the 5 aggregate of form and mind. You get yourself entangled here. That's why you cannot understand. So when this one arises, when thought arises, it becomes so rampant, it becomes so habitual, you become heedless. That's why here is heedless living. Where is the word? Okay. So this mundane, you can make it into heedless living. Mundane, before you become enlightened, you can also label it as heedless living. Before one is enlightened, this direction is heedless living, even though we use the word mundane. So it's actually from here to here. Before you become enlightened, this is heedless living. That when you become enlightened, this direction down, this is heedful living. So true living or heedful living, this direction and this direction. Then this direction is heedless living. So all this become clear once you are able to silence your mind and see the birth. At this point, you must have the stability of mindfulness. Stability of mindfulness. Sati or mindfulness. To see the birth and formation of thought. So this one is very important. The stability of mindfulness or sati, to see the birth and formation of thought. From here, you can see this movement, you can see this, then you will understand. You will understand the teaching, the Paticca Samuppada and all those essential Dhamma that the Buddha taught. Then from there, how from here the thought together with the consciousness create the phenomenal world and get the living being entangled inside that. But this is the conditioned world or phenomenal world of consciousness. And this is the one that a lot of living beings get trapped inside. So this picture, or what we call understanding of the movement and process, is very critical, very important. Not until you have the mindfulness and awareness to see all this, to understand all this, you cannot develop the understanding to reverse it. To reverse it, you have to see it, the creative process, how you fall and become what you are. Then how you can seize your mind and return through the silent mind, the awareness nature within. That's why the first hallmark of awakening is when you are lost inside the thought and here, the first thing you need to do is to go to your true mind, take you back to here. Don't stay here. That's why thought-based meditation is doomed. You cannot meditate with the thought. You need to go back to the true mind, the silent mind. Wu Nian, without thought. So from here, it develops the direct seeing. This is meditative, heedful living. If you go this direction, then this one create thinking, thought process, knowledge, delusion, egoic. This one will grasp, cling, and hold on to this phenomenal world of consciousness. And this is how living beings get entangled and become afflicted. Okay, so this is how suffering comes to be. So now unique code 65, now you see the uniqueness of it and the importance of it. Why you need to see the birth and formation of thought. So you need a very stable mindfulness to do that. And when you are able to stabilize the awareness nature, then you realize there is an inner awareness within that is capable of seeing all this, awakening to all this, understanding all this. That's why the inner awareness nature inside there, although no word, nothing, but it can understand, it can awaken, it can see things as they are. It can insight into phenomena, it can awaken. That's why the power of the awareness is way beyond the thought. The thought can be very powerful in terms of thought energy, where thought is actually energy. Yeah. Okay. Then we move on to the next unit code. Unit code number 66. The pure vijnana, or the pure awareness, the pure perception, which is just the consciousness before the content goes in, is the one that can allow one's nature to see things as they are. I already explained this, because there is no word, no concept, nothing. There's just awareness, aware. So seeing things as they are, the pure seeing, the direct seeing, the seeing that is without words, without concept. So this is what the direct seeing is all about. The pure seeing is all about. So that the memory does not come in and interfere and create delusion, sakayaditi, wrong view, all those things. When you see things as they are, there is no word, no labeling. Then that movement becomes very clear. Means you are seeing truth, the reality, without words. And if everybody has the ability to see that way, then there is no argument, no conflict, no duality, nothing. That thing is that thing. That's why truth is, can only be realized by the wise, each for themselves. That is the meaning. If you are not the enlightened one, the awakened one, with that true mind, the silent mind, the awareness nature within, you cannot understand. You cannot realize it. You cannot develop the understanding of it. So this is basically what the pure nature is, the pure awareness nature within is. Okay, then we move on to the next unit code. Unit code 67. With sati, or mindfulness, and the initial wisdom at the moment of sense experience, feeling can remain as pure feeling. This is true. When you have the Dhamma understanding, your mind doesn't move. It just stays there. Feeling can be pure feeling. It can be at the moment of pure consciousness or awareness before the content go in. It can be at the point of pure perception before the labeling goes in. So all this become possible when your sati is very stable. Then by the time you develop the awakening or the wisdom born of the direct seeing, it will enable you to act within the moment. That's why with sati and the initial wisdom, which is yoniso manasikara, develop, this yoniso manasikara or wisdom develop, which is at this point. Via the direct seeing, you develop this wisdom, yoniso manasikara. So this one is inside our nature. Once you are able to meditate from the true mind, the silent mind, and you are able to see things as they are inside in the phenomena via the direct seeing, awaken, this wisdom that the Buddha has taught you, the essential Dhamma, everything, the fundamental truth is three turning, this one will be stored in your nature. Then this one can allow you to act. That's why acting according to memory here, the brain, is not acting at all, but acting from wisdom, acting according to wisdom, following the Dhamma way is true action. That's why you can act through living. So this Yoniso Manasikara, at the moment of sense experience, they will spin off. They will immediately prompt you. Then you understand what that thing is. Delusion will never set in. That's why feeling can remain as pure feeling here. Perception can be pure perception before the content go in. Then after that, the whole movement, you want to know, you can know. You want to let it arise, you can let it arise. Otherwise, you can just, like, we call it, it's like you have the power to stop it. Under Paticca Samuppada, the Buddha said, upon contact, feeling arises. After feeling arises, it condition craving in it. Then they say, cut a feeling. Then craving don't arise. Impossible. Without Yoniso Manasikara, this feeling will become craving straight away. You are operating here. You are not operating from here. But when you operate from here with the Yoniso Manasikara, then this feeling can become pure feeling. You can stop that. The link will not flow. Where there is no more avijja. Otherwise, with the avijja, here, the 12 link keep on moving, non-stop, entangling the living being. So this is how, as a cultivator of the way, when you awaken, you can see all this movement. That's why I can create words and share this with you as a teaching. Otherwise, I can't. You go and check all this. You cannot find anywhere else. Yeah. So far, I haven't come across any. Yeah. So all this understanding, if you really have the correct approach to meditation, to cultivation, you develop the awareness-based meditation, you go back to this silent mind, the pure or true mind. From here, you develop the cultivation and awaken. Then all this that I share, you will understand. You will be able to follow. Unless you do that. If you go thought-based, you cannot follow. You don't know what all this is. And it's like very confusing. Yeah. But most Kayamita, I think by now, yeah, after I explain, the understanding become clearer. And you can actually grasp it better and better. And strangely, it takes a while. It cannot be overnight. Like 1 year ago or earlier, I cannot share like that yet. Because you are not ready. You are not ready. That time, I remember in the early days of the retreat, 2015, 2016, I only draw the circle. I didn't explain much. You remember? At that time, I used to tell you, what my nature understand is a lot more. But I cannot share because people are not ready. There were no condition at that time. Now you realize when some of you are ready, when you can have the understanding, then I can share. Then when I share, I go in. You look at the unique code. Last time when I say it, nobody really see the uniqueness and significance. Do you realize even now Puanchi also starts to create that thing? Initially it was Miss Lee. He saw 1 or 2 codes. Then he create the gathering of Kayamita. He gave me the plug. That's why people who have that ability to appreciate, they start to see. Then now, all this unique code, they are really powerful. Then what Puanchi is trying to share one is the wisdom part that my nature created one. And some I learned from some of my teachers one. Like mighty nature ruling by all things from Acharya. But all this understanding I combine and develop my own understanding. That's why what he has put up, the 2 or 3 or 4 of them, they are just the meditative understanding. Means from the direct seeing, the wisdom that arises, allow me to put it into words so that you can read it to develop the understanding and try to live it, understand now? But before you develop the stability of mindful awareness to awaken, you find that it's very difficult for you to live it. You may think you understand, like Ponchi, because as you develop the what they call contemplative, I call it contemplative wisdom, the second turning one, without going to the direct seeing, the penetrative one. The contemplative one also help, but it will stabilize your understanding up to a certain point. After that, you cannot go in already. You cannot develop the deeper understanding. So that one has its purpose. But that one, because it's not penetrative, there's a sometime when you are being tested by the first noble truth reality, you cannot leave it. You cannot really be in that state to have that understanding and the wisdom to break free. You're still affected inside there. But at least you are much, much less affected because the initial wisdom is already there. The initial wisdom born of contemplation, reflection, the 5 daily contemplation as taught by the Buddha and the essential Dhamma, all this can also help to a certain extent. So that sakkayaditthi is like attenuated, reduced. So all this is what Dhamma is all about. As you develop the cultivation, as you evolve, as you progress, you develop different understanding. Okay? Then later on, as you all progress, I will share differently again, basing on what manifests from there. Because, like I said, wisdom is unending. The cultivation is unending. But up to this stage, it's already very powerful. Whoever who can understand even 50% of what I share now, he or she is already very, very good, very special. So all this, just make a note. That's why I put this whiteboard here, I think for the fourth, is it the 4th week already? 5th already. So every time we add a little bit here and there, then it becomes different. But basically, like Sui An's house last time, the teaching evolved around a few things, understand? Last time Sui An on is what? 5 mental hindrance, 5 spiritual faculty, then what constitute wrong thought or those things, then the advice of the Buddha, acting according to memory, not acting at all, then acting according to wisdom, following the Dhamma way is true. All those things. But now it's different. You realize that? Now it's no more that essential Dhamma. Now it's cultivation, going direct to the true mind, the silent mind, the awareness nature. That's why that unique code, I can continue to share from here, like Xianhua say, 妙法莲花经, cannot finish, very long, because the understanding of it is so beautiful, so wonderful. There is so much thing inside there, but only meaningful to those who have developed the cultivation and have the ability to follow. Do you understand? If I don't explain all this, nobody would understand, I tell you. It's not easy to even come to this. Coming to this is already a very, very advanced progress for Kayamita. Do you know that? I also never thought I will share this. Luckily, we have Brother Timo and Pamasuri having the Thursday class. And Thursday class, I also don't know why I go and choose this unique code. Because normally Thursday class is general. You know, Suyan's house, you can ask any question on, any topic on. They want to know. And this teaching also want to come out. This teaching also want to come. It also want to benefit Kayamita. That's why if you ask me, you will realize one thing that I have been sharing with you. Let things be. Don't be rigid. Don't say, hey, Thursday class, last time you swim there, general topic, no, I can ask any question. Then this thing cannot come out already. Yeah. And how did that book UNESCO come out? It's because Ingvi actually put them all in the computer in the early day. And she also doesn't know why she put in the computer, because she find it very interesting. Because she can understand to a certain state of understanding. That's why after that, when I think, was it Pamasuri or one, that suggest we compile all this together. Then we get them to help in that. Then Ingvi suddenly volunteers say she got all of them in the computer. Then she forward to me. Then I look at it, wow, so beautiful. So I edited it. Then we come out with this book. When the book want to come out, you cannot stop. It will come out. And when it come out, now you ask yourself, why I use that title? When I use that title, I don't think you will understand much. Why did I use the word unique code? Do you realize or not? And after I share, you only realize how unique that code is. Although those sentences that I used to share are like very normal, very common. Every time I come to a certain topic, then I will share it. Come to a certain topic, I will share it. But end up 100 over. And these are the ones that I commonly share. That's why from here, whoever who can pick up, they progress very fast. But after I explain with this, those who have developed the initial understanding and progress, they will penetrate. They will develop the faith. Then when they cultivate following what I explained, they progress very, very fast. Because this one is no more thought-based, awareness-based, understanding-based. And this one creates the whole evolution of understanding of cultivation. This one, not in the Theravada book, not in the Mahayana book. You can go and check. The words, some of the words may be there. But the whole teaching, the framework, how you connect and develop all this understanding is not there. Even this four circle, very few people understand. And what is happening in the Buddhist community is, even Mahayana teaching is, they make it like, what word to use? All these words, no, like all these words, they like to use this word, but hardly anybody explain. No, you realize that? Means what? They want to leave it as it is, so that is, they call it what? Esoteric teaching. You heard of this word? No? Esoteric teaching. Like very high level teaching, like very difficult to understand. But actually it's not like that. It can be taught in normal understanding. It's nothing esoteric, understand? It's like very difficult to understand one. 本来的眉目你看不到看不到不用讲了咯。He will tell you like that one. Because hardly anybody go in and describe this. Hardly anybody know that the first thing to come out is this, the pure awareness. They only tell you the true mind, Chen Xing. Understand? Then the mundane mind, Fan Xing, they seldom go in. They seldom develop the deep penetrative understanding of the five aggregate of form and mind, the paticca samuppada. In fact, the mundane mind, the teaching is very wide, very, very wide. Well, it covers the paticca samuppada, the content of consciousness, all the karmic thing, all inside there. That's why when I explain the 9 type of consciousness that the Mahayana tend to talk about because they like to share that in the sense that it make the teaching very impressive, understand? They got 9 type of consciousness, understand? But actually, that 9 type of consciousness can be reduced to the 5 aggregate of form and mind. Like I share in that video, the difference between awareness and consciousness. So inside there, they talk about the 9 type of consciousness. In fact, they focus on the first 8. The first 8 is very easy to understand. As a human being, we have the physical senses, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the tactile. So these 5 can trigger off the respective consciousness. The seeing consciousness, the hearing, smell, taste, and tactile consciousness. So the first 5 already there. The 6th one is what? The 6th one is from your memory. Understand? Your memory is what the aggregate of perception is. That's why this 5 aggregate, the 6th consciousness is perception. Where this 6th consciousness, perception, is common to all the 5 physical senses and the brain. Understand? It's common. Without the consciousness to perceive, there is no perception. There is no external form entering the consciousness. There is no content movement. So from the 6th consciousness, when you start to perceive it and label it according to memory, what happens? Your brain, your memory has a lot of views, opinion, conditioning, belief system, insecurity, everything. So what happened? That mind think a lot, understand? Discriminate, 分别心, like and dislike, pleasant and unpleasant, that fear, worry, anxiety. So that movement is the discriminative consciousness. And that 7 consciousness is the result of the 6. So the 6 perceive and create the movement of the 7 to discriminate. That's how karma go in, understand? After karma go in, it make contact with the brain, it trigger off the alaya consciousness, the 8 consciousness. The 8 consciousness is a full movement already. Means after your sankhara sanya, perceive, think, then react, stir. We call it cooking inside there. That whole content of consciousness become your alaya consciousness, the movement. That's how the 8 consciousness come to be. Then to understand it better is, the 7 consciousness is like the organ. You know what is the organ? The organ is like our senses, organ. And the perception is the sense data. Whatever you bring in from external form into the mind, it comes into your perception. Correct? So the external sense data come in from the 6 consciousness you perceive. Then that organ process it, understand? There is a sense data. Then it trigger off the 8 consciousness. It become alaya consciousness with all the sankhara activity content inside there. There's like 6, 7, 8, they are related. Understand? Although I describe it as discriminating all things, but if you view it as an organ, then it's easy. Understand? Sense data come in, the organ upon contact, it trigger of the respective consciousness. The consciousness is based on the perception. So you perceive things with negativity, you are dead. Your alaya consciousness is dead. But you perceive things as they are, without delusion, then that pure perception becomes wisdom. Then your alaya consciousness is pure. That's why they have wholesome and unwholesome chitta. They call it chitta. So all this is in the Theravada teaching. But people cannot understand this movement of the 5 aggregates. That's why they cannot see the birth of thought, the formation of thought, the movement of Paticca Samuppada, the dwelling. They cannot see. And because they cannot see, they cannot understand. Do you realize that? And this is what the teaching is. Actually, everything is in the Theravada teaching. But how many people can understand all this up to this level? Hardly any. And the Mahayana, when they explain all the type of consciousness, Tiliosa, Tichisa, Dipa, it's actually the five aggregate of form and mind, the same movement inside. Understand now? Nothing is apart from your form and mind. That's why the Buddha say, in short, the final summary of the First Noble Truth is what? When you deludedly grasp onto this five aggregate of form and mind, dukkha arise. And what is this aggregates of grasping? Upadana khandhas, understand now? Through Sakkayaditi, you grasp, you hold. There's a 6, 7, and 8 keep on happening, creating the alaya consciousness, creating karmic discrimination, the movement, the activity. That's why they don't know how to link to memory. They don't know how to see what memory create and how. You cannot actually go to memory and act. Krishnamurti saw that. He was the only one who saw that and able to say the general, but he cannot explain all this. He said acting according to memory is not acting at all. You can go and Google his teaching. He never explained. He just know acting according to memory. And you ask my wife, in 1989, I remember, 30 over years ago, when I saw all this, I said, the monks, most of them, almost all of them, they are trapped in memory. Yeah, the chanting, everything is memory. So, commit to memory. Then I saw that Krishnamurti say, the moment I read, acting according to memory, not acting, I straight away understand. He didn't even explain to me. And he never explained in his whole teaching. Nobody asked him. But he didn't say the second part. No. If you don't act according to memory, then how do you act? He didn't explain that. Acting according to wisdom, following the Dhamma way. Because he don't like to use the word Dhamma. To him is, through his direct seeing, his observation, he understands all this. That's it. That's why I say he don't have the Dhamma structure. He don't have the teaching. His sharing is based on what he understands, and he uses modern words. That's why his teaching is beautiful, powerful. But if you have the cultivation and the Dhamma understanding, that teaching match with the Buddha's teaching. Even the word he used is different. But the two teaching actually match. That's why if you understand, there is no difference. Okay? So today one, I think, is this part, the added on. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah, you should rejoice there. Okay, I think we end here. 10 o'clock already. I see that. Okay, never mind. We have shorter meditation reporting. I just finish this quote 67. With sati and the initial wisdom at the moment of sense experience, feeling can remain as pure feeling. So this one we covered. It does not lead to craving. This comes with understanding. Because the collected and unwavering mind in samadhi is born of wisdom. So when wisdom is there, this craving, the link, cannot move. That's why feeling remain as pure feeling. No need to cut one. Understand? Who cut? The deluded one want to cut. How can he cut? Understand? You cannot cut a pure feeling. It's like you say, let go. Who let go? The one who hold, try to let go. Why do you hold? You hold because you don't understand. You got Sakkayaditi. If you don't have Sakkayaditi, thing is just the way it is, why must you hold? Understand? That's why that thing can be molten hot, burning, tormenting you, and yet you hold on to it because you say, this is my problem, I want to solve it. Why you hold? You can solve it without holding it, understand? No? By having the clarity of mind when you are not tormented, when you are not being affected, then you have this clarity of mind. Means when you don't stir your mind, when you don't react, when you don't get angry, when the evils are not there, then you can have clarity of mind to actually reflect and contemplate what happened. And then you act. So all these are understanding that can be developed through mindfulness, through awareness. Okay. So this one completes the whole thing. It does not lead to craving. This comes with understanding, means wisdom. Because the collected and unwavering mind in samadhi is born of wisdom. That's why it becomes upeka, the seventh enlightenment factor, the last one. Okay, we stop here. Anybody wants to come in, report meditation or add on to what we have shared today, or ask any question?
Amitofo, Bratio, Mrs. Teo, and all Kayamitas. Bratio, but first, I want to say something. Tomorrow is Vesak Day in Singapore. Happy Vesak Day.
Sadhu.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Sadhu.
no wonder.
Yeah.
Just our
Yes.
Pamasuri also told us, they celebrate tomorrow. Yeah. Sadhu, sadhu.
Yeah. Yeah, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah, so Bratio, I just want to say something related to this Vesak. First, firstly, I like to rejoice in the opportunity for the team to have the opportunity to transcribe the video, because Brother Chin Hao kind of told us that he initiated that work team to do that. So is what better way to honor and respect the Buddha on a Vesak Day is to have an opportunity to do something wholesome to transcribe this video, So that is what I want to say about it, that I had so much joy in doing that. To commemorate the Vesak Day. Thank you everyone for this opportunity.
Rejoice.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Also,
sadhu.
today's sharing is very, very different, very good. I think maybe because tomorrow is Vesak. I think this sharing has to come out.
Yes, Bratio, this Thursday sharing on the unique Dharma code has been getting more and more exciting in the sense that the Dharma is not just the essential Dharma, but is totally about cultivation. How do you cultivate using the awareness-based meditation? Yes, to I mean, everybody is very keen. I mean, we ask ourselves why we want to be a Buddhist. We are very keen to end all suffering and to develop wisdom, and how to liberate ourselves and liberate others, So that's the whole purpose of learning Buddhism, I can speak for myself, right? I can speak for myself. So I learned late, but that is my purpose, that I wake up, that I need to do that before I end my life in this life, So what better way than to say all this prior on the eve of Vesak, right? On the eve of Vesak. So this human life is so important, so precious, right? So we have to take this opportunity to learn the Buddha Dharma, the true Buddha Dharma, by learning the awareness-based meditation, Yeah. So if you get it right, okay, I mean, everyone is so keen to learn, to realize wisdom, to have understanding and wisdom, to insight into the three universal characteristics. But how do you do that? You must really do the awareness-based meditation. The thought-based meditation, like Bharati always use the word doom, it will lead you to nowhere. It is a doom day. It's a doom thing, So it's really, really true. You have to sink into every one of us, so that we realize and we wake up and we want to do the right thing, We don't want to waste time, going round and round, in a merry-go-round. So, and then the other thing I want to say, which Bharati also emphasized many times already, many weeks already, is about these 4 circles. These 4
Yeah, the
circles.
whole circle.
Yeah.
Repeat the whole cultivation.
Yes.
Like Brother Song earlier on
Yes.
explained, it is
Yes.
so beautiful, can summarize everything into just 4 beautiful circles.
Yes, yes. Actually, these 4 circles is the whole framework of our cultivation,
cultivation
Yeah,
and
how we.
understanding of life.
Yes, yes, yes. When you understand life, you know how to live life. That's what
You
the
know how to
variety is
live.
like. And then how you can face the first noble truth. That is the most
Correct.
important one as well.
Yes.
If you just understand on a surface level, like a knowledge, you will not
it
be
won't help
able
you
to
much on.
face the real test, which is the first noble truth. You
Yes.
cannot live through it, and you will affect you, and you will be afflicted, and
Yeah,
you will suffer as a result of it.
correct.
So I mean, so important is this teaching, the meditative understanding of the awareness-based meditation. Yeah.
Very true. Yes.
So this is very, very important, how we existed, through life, so not just one life, not this segmented
Correct.
life, so many lives.
And
Yeah.
eons of birth and death.
Even though we do not remember the past lives, but just look at the current life itself, so you will know that you must learn it so that you can at least, not to say end all or suffering, but at least you can slowly, I mean, I don't know whether to say it slowly or not. For my case, cannot slowly lah, we have
The
to.
moment you understand, it already break free.
Yeah, you want to break free from all the suffering, as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yes.
So that is my sharing for the eve of Vesak Day.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah,
us rejoice.
hope everybody will have the opportunity to learn and speed up our cultivation through the teachings from Brother Teo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good evening, Brother Teo, Mrs. Teo, and Mita.
Yes.
Thank you, Sister Poh Cheng. You read my mind.
Sadhu.
No, actually, Brother Teo 今天的 sharing 非常好。
非常好。
让我想起很多的 understanding。但是我可以 summarize 在就是一个很短的句子，就是好像以前我做过一个 transcript on 那个达摩祖师讲
对。
根本。如果我们不明白这个 mundane mind 所谓的 five gates of form and mind 怎样 function，我就是无从下手的去做我们的 cultivation。
对 ，That's why 心为根本嘛。I remember that one, the 大摩祖师 one，心为根本，very important. Because our mind is the basis of cultivation, is the foundation. So understanding the two mind is most important. Then the mundane mind, moving on to the true mind. Yeah, good. Continue, Alicia. Sadhu.
还记得我时常都挂在嘴边讲，当 Brother Teo 教我们六祖坛经的时候，其实我真的不知道的 actual how to say the actual teaching of that， but 我只知道听 Brother Song 有讲过说顿悟，然后你要 go direct to 你的 true mind， 当时不是很明白，但是经过这几年的所谓的Dharma investigation 所谓的 contemplation， 在我的 daily life 我遇到种种的事情人事物在里面，比所有的东西我就把它当成一个 Dharma 来去然后 investigate 它就是就是你 follow the Buddha teaching 和 Brother Teo 的 advice 他 every 就是说怎样讲，就是他一直在现出来给你明白，所以你的
让你明白，
对，
让你悟到，让你了解，then the whole teaching 来become 哇 so wonderful, so amazing, and so easy to understand 哦。That's why 很奥妙，对，那个时候 I think starting 的时候你什么都不懂，因为你刚刚很 new to Buddhism，to Dhamma，but 因为你是华校生，then 你前世有修过，that's why later on when you go into it, you develop the joy and the affinity to connect, and when you connect, you move very fast because you, like Po Cheng, go into it very diligently, sincerely. Then 你真的你有 separately 自己去读那个，因为你 Chinese educated. When you read the Mandarin and the English, the meaning stand out. The Dhamma become very different when I realize. Yeah, Alicia, you can continue.
Radio 其实yesterday 我做那个 transcript 的时候，我所听到的跟我以前所听的都不一样，因为
completely 不一样了咯。
因为它里面 Radio 有 mention 到说，当你遇到事情的时候，那个 Uniso Manasikara
自己会现出来。
对，当你遇到某一些
continuously you will come out
家怎样骂你，怎样讲你
对对对，
你会觉得他很可怜，这样你 know
对对对对，是的。
你会觉得哎呦，你会不会跟他一般见识？但是这个是真的是一个我所理解的就是你的里面的一个 transformation 来的，它不是说你刻意的去做啊，还是说你刻意的去怎样，它就是它的 mind 就好像它就好像有一个understanding 就停在
对，它好像整个 understanding is there, it transform 了啊，它不会摇动了，不会有问题了，所以人家怎样讲都好啊。Your understanding is so different, you become 好像你刚才 describe 啊 the compassion can come out. 你 actually develop the compassionate mind. Living beings are just the way they are. No amount of knowledge can help them. Unless they cultivate, they realize the truth, they cannot awaken. They are just the way they are. Then 你就会接受他们 accept them for what they are. Then you become very different. 就好像你经过的咯。So this is very beautiful. And this type of understanding is what cultivator will go through. That's why it doesn't mean that when you become enlightened, you become fantastic. No, you are still a normal human being. Except you have the wisdom. You're no longer deluded. Your mind has transformed. And you see clearly empty nature of existence. He no you, he no me. So all this become very clear. 一切有为法，如梦幻泡影，如露亦如电，应作如是观。All this become very clear. Then the Dhamma is such, the condition and the unconditioned become so clear. It manifests. Then you know what is mundane conditioned living. What is the unconditioned supramundane Dhamma understanding that enable one to live within the mundane? When you have the supramundane understanding coupled with the mundane, then you can live. And that is the beauty. And the mundane and the supramundane, they are two very, very different type of Dhamma. The mundane and the supramundane Dhamma, they are totally different. That's why all this understanding, when they unfold, even at the stage where Alicia has gone through, she can already appreciate, understand, and develop the understanding to that extent, which is so beautiful. That's why those who cultivate correctly, they will come to the same understanding. And her life becomes so different. Like you all know, before she started, she was entangled with a karmic thing for 16 years. She went through depression. And she gone through that phase of life which was not easy. A lot of suffering, not only mental, physical, and everything like afflicting her. And just by listening, then diligently develop the faith and understanding, cultivate. She slowly came out of it and transformed and become so beautiful. Then she gave back her life and become so different. And now, full of joy, full of understanding, full of like amazing understanding to live life so beautifully. Then everything that happened to her becomes so different. It's like 360 degrees. The whole thing just flip over. So sadhu to you, Alicia, 很好。你的 understanding is very good, sadhu to you.
如果没有遇到 Brother Dew， 我就不会是现在的我，也如果没有佛法，也不能。
Also 你的因缘呐，你跟 Triple Gem 的 affinity， especially 那个 Great Being，I think 你跟那个地藏王菩萨，地藏王菩萨 help you a lot. Then also of course 观世音，佛菩萨 and a lot of other great beings. You have affinity with them. That's why the chanting came to you. Then the understanding also, they will just surface and you will develop the understanding. Then 三宝寺那边也是那个 Great Being 的 nature. You go to the pond there, they show you the Dhamma, the fish, out of the suffering world, yet want to jump in again. That one awaken you also. So 很多啦，真的 very beautiful. Sadhu.
Actually 我这10年在你这边学习佛法 actually 我所经历的真的是很感恩。为什么？因为有 Brother Dew 的 guidance， 还有那个佛菩萨，他们一直 manifest 那些 condition 给我去 awaken 了。
对，
真的是讲不出来那个。
讲不出的
对，因为好像地藏王菩萨这样 ，there's no reason 我 suddenly 起来这样子 pack 我的 clothes 上去Sampo Temple 做地藏王佛子。对。And then 那个过程是很多的阻碍啊，就是说他不给你这样 smooth 的上。
对。The karmic obstruction, the test and all those things.
一出来之后，他就叫我如数 ，you know，when 我一出，然后我不是有问过 Brother 为什么会这样 ？Brother 讲这一点你就明白，他是经过那几年的如数，他好像把我整个以前所犯下的那种所谓的
的错误，
那个债还
the coming debt
the coming debt 就这样子，then after that 我就明白到哇，然后过后我的 understanding 是我不要我自己不要起烦恼，我也别人起烦恼，就朝着这个方向，我就很随缘的去有时候如数啊，没有因缘就不如数啊，这样慢慢
那个智慧很高，
就慢慢这样走过来。then 我一路走来，就是一直自己的去尝试，就是来为众生想多一点，不要为自己。所谓的没有
对，那个 very powerful transformation
没有自己，然后我也把我自己所谓这个色身交给佛菩萨的去盖。actually 我有一阵子，我记得有一阵子我好像就是来我遇到那些so called 那时候我遇到的困难，我就整个人交出去，就是来 give up 的 whole thing。
对 ，you surrender
这个 you know what I mean？ so 我就把我这个放眼麦交给 佛菩萨盖，然后他就一路这样 transform。
对。
我真的是觉得很 amazing。
Yeah, it's very amazing. That is the way it functions, the cultivation. What you go through is very beautiful. 因为你是从那个 suffering 那边起来的then 地藏王菩萨啊，跟你有那个缘分的 because 你前世因的那个 karmic 啊。Actually, a lot of that you need to clear one. Without 地藏王菩萨的那个 guidance and affinity not easy for you this life. 你学到很多东西 because I realize you got this ability to see the understanding and develop it for cultivation very fast. Especially 你的 depression 那些 wrong thought 你第一天到我家，我记得 I spoke the first noble truth, the reality. Then straight away I link a little bit to the second noble truth, which is a cause of arising or suffering. Then straight away I zero in on the wrong thought. What constitutes wrong thought? That one actually help you. Then later on, as you listen more and more, then you realize everything that you have been holding on for the last 16 years that cause your depression and suffering are all wrong thought. Then I remember you told me, is it, from that moment onward, you want to reverse all this. Then it's like you can see, the moment they arrive, 够了，你害我害了16年，够了 enough, finish, that wrong thought subside. Then after that, you start to develop the opposite. You start to do something wholesome. You try to arise the right thought and all those things. Then from there, your life change. Then you see the turnaround, the beauty of all this. That's why you cultivate 感恩 gratitude. Then love, compassion. Then like help people and all this. So you also mentioned the first thing to do is to do something for people, to help people, to open up your heart, to develop all the wholesomeness, the goodness. That's why from there you move. And I realize you can pick up the penetrative Dhamma is because you go through suffering. People who go through suffering can pick up the wisdom very fast on the understanding. It's from suffering that you liberate. How you get entangled is also how you come out of it. So this is something very unique and very beautiful. You all should learn from the way she come out of it. So sadhu, Alicia, 你 continue?
Sadhu brother 还有3分钟。Actually, remember 那天我有 share about 那个Bodhisattva
对，你发那个愿，哇，那个好了。
那天我 brother 跟我讲要回去contemplate 那个5 stages。
对 Bohi mind development
After that 我就不是跟就讲我很多的法喜 and then 我的
法喜的眼泪全部流出来
后来then 当我出去 garden 的时候，我一看出去那个 garden 的时候哇那个 four basic 哇很 strong 的在我的 heart 那边
对
就是它不是像这样念的，它是很 determined 那种
very determined from inside 出来的那个就是 you already able to develop it during the sasana and that one will stay with you until you fully fulfill the Sammasambuddhahood. Sadhu, very good.
Brother 就感凯拉米达的分享。那就这10年来的 guidance 陪伴advice 哇，我真的是不懂怎么样的去形容这个 journey. It was really 很 beautiful,
amazing, wonderful, beautiful, amazing.
就好像 Brad 就经常讲，比 fairy tale 更 fairy tale，
更 fantastic 啊，more fantastic than fairy tale。真的，你不可思议的 ，you never dream this type of thing can happen or no？哦，it's more fantastic than fairy tale。Yeah, true。
因为我根本没有想到我可以走到这里，也没有想到。所以那天 Brad 就金浩有 post 一个 video 讲rejoicing open your heart right？
对，那个 now you understand。
然后很重要，因为以前我听波庆的 sharing 哦，不是有在 retreat share 过。
对。
我很 admire 波庆，后来我跟我自己讲，我 admire 没有用，倒不如我 rejoice。
呀，这个法喜心啊，是吧？
我一直开哦，然后我就很多的understanding keep coming。
所
以在这里我很感恩大家，我也很感恩三宝。我接这个为啥我真的是很感恩，我讲不出来，不然就真的是。谢谢大家，感恩阿弥陀佛。
明白，沙丢，好 ，end 了。
Sorry， 就10:30我 end 我的 sharing 在这里啊。
可以，沙丢，Let us rejoice 啊，沙丢。So it so happened today Thursday class is so beautiful. Tomorrow is Vesak. Then this coming weekend, Alicia is holding a special dana for Kayamita at her house. So those who free, you can attend. We can go and have Dhamma Sharing too. Where it's going to become something very beautiful. It so happened everything fall into place. If Poh Cheng didn't mention, I also didn't know about the tomorrow Vesak. Also just now Pamasuri mentioned, I think a lot of countries they celebrate Vesak tomorrow. Singapore is one of them. And there are many other Buddhist countries too. So it's like meant to be. That's why today sharing I also feel funny towards the end. How come the extra understanding come out? The one about the 5 degree of form and mind and the 9 type of consciousness and the movement, everything inside. Last time you are not ready, I cannot go deep into it or explain it clearer and deeper. Then today, because of the condition, so this whiteboard note that I continue to go around is just like last time Sui An's whiteboard note. For many years at the house there, she never rub it off. We always keep on using. So this one I don't know for how long. Maybe it will last us quite a while too. So this one will create more and more understanding. It will stabilize it's through listening. Then when you have the condition and the affinity, it will somehow connect one. Then it will trigger off a lot of things to happen. You look at Poh Cheng, the way she received it was different. Her one is like initially something not favorable happened where she wanted to go to retreat. MCO cannot go. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, meant to be. We discussed the Heart Sutta through the Zoom for 8 months or instead of 8 days or 9 days, the normal one. Then from there, she starts to learn the basic teaching and understanding, which she don't have the luxury or condition to listen to our sharing like what Alicia has every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, or the whatever spiritual treatment, the retreat, and all those things. So Poh Cheng need the Zoom, the 8 months. And from there, she moved so fast. And so many things happen. Then Alicia go through suffering and all things. Then a lot of other Kayamita too, especially Envy, they all song, they all, and many who have the understanding, they become different. So all these are pointing towards one very important understanding. If you have the faith, if you have the sincerity and the diligence, this thing can happen. And when it happens, you will never expect it to happen the way it happened. It's really amazing and fantastic one. Sometimes it's so amazing. It really like beyond your wildest dream that this thing can happen. And like I used to share you, unless you are in this spiritual field, you cannot meet those great beings, nature, or cultivator of the way that can guide you, share with you, and teach you. You never dream like this life. All those that I came to meet and see or realize the affinity, I don't know that one. I don't know that one really. And some of them are no way I can meet them. But because of your condition, your affinity, you are in this cultivation. All these beings, their nature, or in person, they will arise. They will meet up with you and somehow create the affinity and develop the sharing and all those things. Then everyone that come, it just for that purpose, then gone. Then for Alicia and Kayamita, it's because we have this sharing, we have the Kayamita force, we have my nature, my sharing. Then I share with you all the understanding of the great being's nature and how to go this way, the Bodhisattva way. How to develop all this understanding and make the affirmation. When you make the affirmation, this life, the sasana is the best window. When this one manifests and open up, means it seal you for all your future coming. Like Alicia, what happened at the garden she described today. That is the one that is going to give rise to the causes and conditions. The Bodhi mind development with tears when she was in my house Tuesday class, and she went back that night. She texted me. Then after that thing happened at the garden there. The 4 basic vows, like imprint, no, so determined, no, so clear inside there, that this will stay with you life after life. That is what will happen when your faith is very strong, when your understanding is there, when your joy is there, when you see all these things happening, and you know there is no way this thing can be arising or happening the way it is if it's not meant to be. So all this can really give rise to faith and understanding to cultivate all the way. Then if you determine, I can rest assure you, all of you are special. You can also move and you can also have your manifestation in your unique way to actually understand all this. And it's not difficult. Where this window, this sasana, that Kayamita force, that energy, the affinity with all the great beings, you really develop the faith and invoke the affirmation, then wow, make aspiration, it will move. It will give rise to causes and conditions. And before you end your this life, you already stabilize all this understanding and wow, then all your future will be taken care of. Then your cultivation later on when you come, life after life, whether got sasana or no sasana, you don't worry. With this type of teaching, even during sasana, you cannot get, I tell you, unless you can meet up with the real great beings. Very difficult to find this type of teaching, this understanding. Okay, so let us rejoice one more time, then we end. Huh? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, sorry for taking out extra 8 minutes of your time. Okay, now we will share merits. Akasata cha bhumata devanaga mahindika punyang tang anumoditwa cirang rakantu loka sasana Ettavata camehi sampadan punya sampadan Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Devo asatu kalina sasa sampati hetu cha Vito bhavatu loko cha Raja bhavatu dhammiko Imina punyang kamena Mame bala samagamo Sattang samagamo hotu Yawa nivana patiya Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect to Pajam. Pay respect Lord Buddha, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end.